Good morning, everybody. My name is Kartik. I'm one of the co-founders of ETH Global, and I want to welcome all of you to Pragma. This is a conference. Those of you who've been to ETH Global events before, you know that we're known for doing two things, hackathons and summits. And Pragma is one of our in-person summits that's going to take place today before the hackathon weekend starts here in Prague. Now, every Solidity developer knows that a smart contract starts with the word Pragma. For us, it's not just the beginning of a developer's journey, but this event is a call towards pragmatism to get more and more people involved into the Web3 ecosystem. We want to make this more accessible, we want to bring more people into our space, have them understand what are the most interesting problems and some of the solutions and what people are working on and what you can expect 6 to 12 months down the future. And that's kind of the whole nature and the goal of today's event. What makes these events unique is Pragma has a special set of principles that we follow. And the first one is that this is a single day, single track event, which means anything that you want to hear about what's happening today will be here on this stage in this room. You don't have to worry about picking between one or two different sessions happening in parallel, and you don't have to worry about understanding where to go for any things. The goal for all the speakers here is also to be having the founders of those companies or the executives in charge of those protocols to be on stage, so you get to hear from them directly on what they are thinking about and where their time is going. And the focus here is about the future, which means we're going to reflect on some of the things from the past, but all conversations will have a mandate to talk about what to look forward to and how can we actually make, from here on now, things better. And we want to make sure that we're keeping things mostly non-technical. We know there's a lot of you here who are not developers, and we want to make sure that everything we do here is accessible, and you get to understand all those things without knowing too much about how something works in too much detail. So there may be some small acronyms that you may have to learn about. We'll do our best to give you that context, but you don't have to be a developer or an engineer to understand what the next 5 hours are going to be. There are going to be 13 sessions for today. 7 of them are going to be interviews, and there are going to be 6 different talks. You can see everything on the postcard that you got in when you checked in. The whole schedule is on the back, printed out, but you can also head over to the website, which has the full schedule and the times and everything else for you accessible. Now, I want to talk about who's here this week with us. There are over 300 people signed up to be here for Pragma. They're here from 45 different countries. It's amazing to kind of have a great crowd coming in from the ETH Prague team and everybody who's been here for ETH Prague as well. So we get to blend in a lot of good people from all across the world and obviously a heavy presence from Europe here today. And also want to thank 2 of our incredible partners who are helping support this event. I want to give a massive shout out to World and Circuit. Thank you. Now, one interesting thing about this whole event is that you had the option to buy the ticket directly or buy something called the Pragma or Prague Pack. We should have just renamed Prague to Pragma with the spelling. I feel like that would have been more efficient because it's going to be confusing for me for the rest of the day. But the part that I want to talk about is that we created this NFT as a set of contracts that let you access on-chain and off-chain things. And a big part of this was for us to experiment and get people to start using crypto in their day-to-day lives. So not only could you buy a ticket for this event, but you also could access a bunch of other cool things that are now uniquely enabled by this pack NFT. Things like being able to also sign up for the rest of the events that we're doing this week, including the happy hour that's tonight, Uber credits, eSIMs for those of you traveling from outside. There's a lot of people who ended up working on the hotels and needing hotel discounts for making their trips happen. And there's also a co-working space just behind us that anybody who purchased a pack is able to use. So all these things are being leveraged and interfaced directly through this protocol. And for us, this is a new way to experiment with making in-person and online experiences, both on-chain and off-chain, way more cool and extensible. So we, as developers, are excited about these things, and I want to thank about half of you ended up purchasing the tickets to who bought the packs instead, just kind of help continue proving the point that this is actually a unique offering that actually helps solve and make your week easy. You can check out all the other packs on ethglobal.com/packs. And we have a bigger one that's a more collective global offering called ETH Global Plus. And this serves as a way to access everything that we were doing in any given year as ETH Global. This means you get access to not only this one, but every single Pragma that happens. The same thing with all city packs, which will let you get access to a lot of things like the travel-related perks. We're also helping sponsor mainnet and L2 transactions. There's so many partners we work with. They end up doing all these events that you get to be part of, so you get access to the side events with some guaranteed spots. Obviously, things like Uber, hotel discounts. For developers, there's a lot of startup credits and faucet access. All these things are being uniquely enabled by people who are kind of coming in and helping support ETH Global and just making this more unique to everybody coming in for all future events. So we encourage you to check out ETH Global Plus. You can learn also more about it at the back. There's a booth we have set up, and we'd love to tell you about all the things that we're doing here for this and turning this into a more developer-friendly product. Speaking of, everybody has a wristband for this event. This serves as your way to be allowed into this venue. But the cool thing about this wristband is that we're also experimenting with making on-chain transactions be part of our day-to-day. So every wristband has a special chip that is also an Ethereum wallet. You get to scan anybody's wristband just with the phone. You don't need any special software. It works on the browser. And every wristband is uniquely configured to the person who signed up for this event. So if you ever want to connect with anybody, if you want to get somebody's contact information, you just have to go scan their wrists. They get to give that information to you as a double opt-in. They get to choose what they want to share with you, and you'll have a whole history of who you've met here today and also for the rest of the weekend. So we really encourage you to check it out, tap everybody's wristband that you want to meet with, and start basically using all these on-chain transactions through this Ethereum signing key on your wristband. And the best part about all these things is that this information is also aggregated and generalized and put as an attestation on the EAS protocol, and it's made available on-chain as well. Now, let's talk about what today is going to be set up like. We're going to start the day with a fireside chat with Tomas from the Ethereum Foundation. We're going to cover all the things that are top of mind for him and the rest of the team at the EF. Then we're going to jump into a talk where Martin is going to talk about how the Zircuit L2 and sequencing works, with them making it easy for you to not really risk your assets. Then we're going to have a second fireside chat with Bogdan, and we're going to talk about the state of the developer ecosystem as a developer building smart contracts and how Tenderly kind of comes into play there and what we can improve altogether. Then Marcus is going to give you an update on how things are going with Ethereum Phone and how they are building a really unique hardware wallet that you'll get to get some really new insights from. Then we're going to go into a fireside chat with Austin from the Ethereum Foundation, and he's going to tell you about all the initiatives that they're doing to bring more developers into the space and get them to understand Solidity and how we can improve the developer ecosystem altogether. Then Oris is going to talk about how real-time proving can be made possible today and even quicker than we realize, and we're going to see an update on how T1 is helping with that. We're going to take a lunch break, and then we're going to resume the session after that, which is going to be a chat with Jordy, and we're going to talk about a lot of cool things on how the ZK world is advancing and how we can actually help understand anywhere from ossification to real-time proving to what it means to be decentralized. Then Marek is going to go through some of the internals for how the self protocol works and how they set up the infrastructure for verifying everybody's identities with passports and putting all of that directly on chain. We're going to have a fireside chat with Federique, and we're going to talk about circles and what Gnosis is working on with this project. Then Yaniv is going to talk about the Geo browser and how they've been working on, what they've been working on over the last couple of years and how they're thinking about the way we think about knowledge graphs on being on chain. Then we're going to go into some of the internals around what the data landscape looks like of looking at all the on-chain information. And we're going to have Evgeny from Zerion share his insights on what they're doing and how wallets can potentially evolve. We're going to take a quick break, and then the last sessions are going to be Paul talking about how enterprise and privacy can be more blended in. And we're going to end the day with a fireside chat with Vitalik, and we're going to talk about all things that we think are wrong with DAOs. So it should be a fun day, possibly a long day. But that's about the schedule. We're going to end this evening with the ETH Global Happy Hour, thanks to Citria. It's going to be just right outside from 6 to 8:30. And everything else I've said is available for you on the website, so just check out ethglobal.com/pragma anytime you'd like to get a full download of all the times and the speakers.